What if the biggest reason you're not achieving the success you want has nothing to do with your talent, your work ethic, or even your intelligence, but with the way you think? Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's quiet partner, is worth billions. Yet he doesn't look like a tech genius. He never built a flashy startup, and he never chased get-rich-quick schemes. Instead, he built a mind so sharp that it turned ordinary opportunities into life-changing fortunes. Here's the cold truth. If you only look at the world through one lens, you're guaranteed to make stupid decisions. Or as Munger himself says, to the man with only a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. Picture it. Most investors in the dot-com bubble rushed into tech stocks because everyone else was doing so. Munger stood back, looked through multiple lenses of psychology, economics, and history, and avoided disaster. While others lost everything, Berkshire Hathaway grew stronger. This book, Poor Charlie's Almanack, isn't a manual on money. It's a blueprint for building worldly wisdom, a way of thinking that makes you nearly impossible to fool, whether by markets, salesmen, or even your own emotions. And in the next few minutes, I'll reveal the mental playbook Charlie Munger used to become one of the wisest billionaires alive. But first, let's answer the real question. Why does Charlie Munger matter to you? Charlie Munger isn't the loudest man in the room. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, he never tried to build a personal brand, and you'll rarely even hear him speak in interviews. Yet behind Warren Buffett, he's been called the architect of Berkshire Hathaway's success, the man who quietly shaped one of the greatest investment empires of all time. But here's the twist. Munger didn't become powerful by memorizing stock charts or inventing trading tricks. He became powerful by collecting mental models and timeless principles from psychology, economics, history, biology, and even physics. Then he used this latticework of wisdom to make decisions better than almost anyone else alive. That's what makes Poor Charlie's Almanack so unique. It's not a typical finance book. It's a window into how one of the world's sharpest minds actually thinks. And here's why it matters to you. Because life is a constant negotiation of choices, career, money, relationships. Every step is a decision point. If your thinking is shallow, your results will be shallow. But if you build the kind of multidisciplinary wisdom Munger talks about, you can tilt the odds of life massively in your favor. So let's dive into the first key principle, the latticework of mental models that changes the way you see the world forever. Chapter 1. The latticework of mental models. Imagine an investor who only understands numbers. He sees a company's quarterly earnings rise, so he buys the stock. However, he ignores psychology, the hype cycle that drives people into a frenzy. He ignores history, the pattern of every bubble ending in collapse, and he overlooks the incentives that reward the company's executives for short-term results. A year later, that stock crashes, and he loses everything. This is exactly the danger Charlie Munger warns about looking at the world through just one lens. Munger's solution: build a latticework of mental models. Instead of one hammer, fill your toolbox with dozens of tools, each drawn from a different discipline. Economics teaches you about opportunity cost. Psychology teaches you about biases. Biology teaches you about evolution and competition. History teaches you about cycles and human folly. Physics teaches you about compounding and feedback loops. When you weave these together, you stop being fooled by surface-level appearances. You see the deeper reality. That's why Munger and Buffett could look at companies everyone else ignored and spot billion-dollar opportunities hiding in plain sight. Cold truth: if you only know one discipline, you'll misinterpret reality. That's why so many smart people still make dumb decisions. They're brilliant in one area and blind in others. Here's how you can apply it. Start by picking just 5 mental models to master. Opportunity cost econ, incentive caused bias psychology, compounding math, finance, second-order thinking philosophy, and feedback loop systems. Whenever you face a decision, run it through these filters. The more models you collect, the sharper your decisions become. And over time, you'll build a kind of X-ray vision for life, the ability to see what others miss. But here's the catch: even with the best models, your brain can still betray you. Because the real enemy isn't ignorance, but it's human misjudgment. And that brings us to Charlie's most famous lesson, the psychology of why smart people do stupid things. Chapter 2. The psychology of human misjudgment. Picture the year 2000. Tech stocks are exploding. Everyone from taxi drivers to CEOs is piling into the market. It can only go up. People say, investors who should know better, abandon reason and throw in their savings. Then the bubble bursts, fortunes vanish overnight. Charlie Munger would call this a case study in human misjudgment. See, even smart people make dumb decisions because the brain is wired with biases. Munger cataloged dozens of them, and he warned if you don't understand these forces, you'll get played by the market, by salesmen, even by your own emotions. Here are a few killers. Social proof. If everyone else is doing it, we assume it's right. That's why bubbles form. Authority bias. When an expert speaks, we tend to switch off our critical thinking and follow blindly. Incentive caused bias. People do what they're rewarded to do, even if it's irrational. Think bankers pushing bad loans because their bonuses depended on it. Consistency bias. Once we take a stance, we defend it even when new evidence proves us wrong. Envy and jealousy. Instead of rational thinking, we sabotage ourselves by comparing ourselves to others. Cold truth: humans aren't rational calculators. We're biased monkeys with spreadsheets. So how do you defend yourself? Munger suggests using a bias checklist before making a significant decision, such as investing, hiring, or starting a business. Pause and ask, am I being influenced by social proof, incentives, or the fear of missing out? Just that awareness can save you from ruin. Here's the brilliance. Once you learn to spot these biases in yourself, you start seeing them in others. You stop getting manipulated by marketing tricks, political rhetoric, or hype cycles. But even when you avoid biases, there's another trap: impatience. Because sometimes the smartest move isn't action, it's waiting. And that brings us to Charlie Munger's ultimate superpower, the discipline of patience. Chapter 3, the discipline of patience. Imagine baseball with no called strikes. You can stand at the plate all day, ignoring bad pitches, waiting for the perfect one. That's how Charlie Munger describes investing and life. You don't have to swing at every opportunity. You only need to swing when the pitch is so good you can't miss. Most people fail not because they're incapable, but because they're impatient. They jump into bad deals, chase shiny objects, or act out of boredom and fear. Munger, on the other hand, mastered the art of waiting. Sometimes he and Buffett sat on billions in cash, doing nothing for years, until a once-in-a-decade opportunity appeared. And when it did, they swung big. Cold truth: the big money isn't made in the buying or the selling. It's made in the waiting. But patience isn't just about investing, it's about life. Instead of rushing into a mediocre job, wait for the role that excites you. Instead of forcing a business idea, wait for the one that solves a problem people are willing to pay for. Instead of jumping into the wrong relationship out of loneliness, wait for the right person. Practical takeaway: write down the criteria for what a fat pitch looks like in your life, in money, career, or relationships. Then commit to ignoring everything else. Because here's the paradox: doing nothing, when everyone else is chasing noise, is often the smartest move you can make. But there's a catch. Patience won't save you if people can't trust you, which is why Munger's next principle is about something even more valuable than money: integrity. Chapter 4, Integrity and Reputation. In the 1980s, Berkshire Hathaway was offered a lucrative business deal. On paper, the profits looked huge. But Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett walked away instantly. Why? Because behind the numbers, the partners sensed dishonesty. And for them, no amount of money was worth gambling with their reputation. Munger is blunt. Reputation is like glass, hard to build, easy to shatter. He often repeats a truth every entrepreneur should tattoo on their mind. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you'll do things differently. Here's the problem. In a world chasing short-term gains, integrity feels underrated. But Munger understood it's the ultimate competitive advantage. Businesses want to partner with you. Investors want to back you. Customers want to trust you. And trust compounds faster than money. Cold truth: you can be the smartest person in the room, but if people can't rely on your word, you'll eventually lose. So how do you apply this? Before making a big decision, ask yourself, would I be proud to see this on the front page of tomorrow's newspaper? If the answer is no, walk away, because wealth without integrity is fragile. And Munger knew that being trusted multiplies opportunities that can never be bought. But there's one final habit that turned Munger from merely rich into genuinely wise. It's the engine behind all his success, and it's something you can start today: lifelong learning. Chapter 5. Lifelong learning. Picture Charlie Munger at 90 years old. Most people his age are slowing down, but Munger continues to read for hours every single day. Not just finance books, but psychology, biology, history, physics, and anything that could sharpen his understanding of the world. His philosophy is simple: knowledge compounds just like money. The more you learn, the more connections you see. Over the decades, those tiny daily deposits of wisdom accumulate into an unbeatable advantage. Munger once said, "Go to bed smarter than when you woke up." It sounds almost trivial, but imagine doing that every day for 50 years. The results are exponential. Cold truth: the world belongs to the learners, not the knowers. People who think they already know enough get stuck. People who stay curious keep evolving. Here's the practical application. Don't just read in your field. If you're in business, study psychology. If you're in science, study history. If you're in art, study economics. The cross-pollination of disciplines is where breakthrough insights come from. And learning isn't just about books. It's about reflection, asking better questions, and surrounding yourself with people who challenge you. So ask yourself, if my knowledge compounds daily, what will my mental bank account look like in 10 years? Because Munger's real edge wasn't luck or even brilliance. It was the relentless commitment to never stop learning. But here's the ultimate twist. His life teaches us that success isn't about chasing brilliance. It's about consistently avoiding stupidity. So what's the ultimate lesson from poor Charlie's Almanack? It isn't about chasing shortcuts or finding one magic trick. It's about building a mind so disciplined, so prepared, that success becomes almost inevitable. Here's the recap. Create a latticework of mental models by collecting tools from various disciplines. Watch out for the psychology of misjudgment biases, which can destroy even brilliant plans. Master the discipline of patience, and wealth is built by waiting for fat pitches. Protect your integrity and reputation. They compound faster than money. Commit to lifelong learning, because knowledge is the only asset that compounds forever. And here's the cold truth: Charlie Munger lived by avoiding stupidity is easier than chasing brilliance. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to stay curious, stay ethical, and continually accumulate small advantages every day. My challenge for you: write down one bias or blind spot you know has cost you in the past: envy, FOMO, impatience, and ask, how will I avoid this next time? That awareness alone can save you years of mistakes. If this video inspired you, the perfect next step is Daniel Kahneman's Thinking, Fast and Slow, a deep dive into the very biases and decision traps Munger warns about. You'll see exactly how your brain tricks you and how to fight back. Check it out right here, and don't forget to subscribe, because next week we're unpacking another book that will sharpen your mind and transform your results.